Hey everyone, my name's Andrew. I'm a doctor of physical therapy here at Limitless Therapy Services, and today we're going to be talking about pain that occurs in the front of the knee. All right everyone, so we're going to be talking about knee pain that occurs in the front of the knee, specifically patellofemoral pain. There's several different factors that can lead to pain in the front of the knee, but when it comes to patellofemoral discomfort, it usually is due to compression on the patella or the kneecap. This can occur from overusage or loading up the quads way more than what they're used to. It can also occur from other muscle imbalances in the hips or in other areas that can lead to overusage or quad dominance when performing a lot of movements. So you may be thinking to yourself, okay, well I am struggling with this patellofemoral pain, what can I do? So I'm gonna go over a few ways that you can help with the discomfort from a mobility point of view, as in helping the tissue quality of the quads, foam rolling them, massaging them, stretching them, things like that to kind of help with the amount of intensity or the amount of pull that they could be creating at the tendon. And also, we'll talk about a couple of strengthening exercises you can do to help minimize the amount of strain that's being put on the tendon. These exercises are going to include eccentric and isometric contractions. All right, everyone. So I'm gonna start off by going over how to foam roll the quads effectively. And so, when I get started here, I'm gonna find an area in the quad that feels stiff or feels like it's restricted from a movement point of view. I'm not just rolling back and forward on the foam roll. I find a spot where it feels like it's dense or doesn't want to move, and then from there, I move my leg up and down, and that's when I really start to mobilize and foam roll, finding the areas that need to move better. This is generally not the most comfortable thing to do, but it's going to be a little bit more effective than just rolling back and forward. And so keep that in mind when using the foam roll. Make sure you're being effective and precise in the position that you're in and the areas that you're trying to target. Next, I'm going to be doing a hip flexor stretch. And this is a good way to get your rectus femoris muscle. The rectus femoris muscle is going to attach up in the hip, cross the hip, and then also cross the knee. It's your long quad muscle and can generally be one of the reasons for the discomfort. So from this position, you can get your hip flexors and then also your quads. But if you really want to get to the rectus femoris muscle, what you can also do is you can lift your back leg up and give it a little bit of a pull. Then lean forward. This might be kind of difficult and tricky for some people. And if you're not flexible enough to do it, there's modifications that you can make in order to do this effectively. Here, I can use a Bosu ball in order to help lift my leg up a little bit more and then lean forward. You can also use a chair, a bench, a step, anything that's gonna help bend the knee a little bit more. But if you're noticing that this is increasing the discomfort that you're having down in the knee from compressing it too much, then you might want to try doing a hip flexor stretch from a different position. So, if doing the kneeling hip flexor stretch is a little bit too much, you can also get into a shin box or 90-90 position, and from there, lean back, allowing your body to come backwards a little bit or lifting the arm. You can get a nice general pull along the quad and the hip flexor, which can be a little bit more tolerable. You can work on bending the knee a little bit more and leaning back. If this is too difficult for you as well, there's plenty of other quad stretches that you can do or ways that you can help massage out the quad. Massage guns, foam rollers like I used today, and many other tools can help with the tissue mobility in the quad to help decrease the amount of tension that you're putting on the knee. Now, let's talk about strengthening the quads. Strengthening the quads eccentrically and isometrically can be a great way to help manage the discomfort that you may be getting in the front of the knee. All right, everyone. So I'm gonna go over a few exercises that you can do to help strengthen the quads in a way that they're not compressing the patella a lot. These movements can also be good for helping the irritability that you may be having in the quad tendon. This first movement, our first exercise, is called a wall sit. I'm in a partial wall sitting position right now. This is going to load the quads isometrically. But if you're having a little bit of discomfort, what you can do is start from a little bit of a higher position. Then you can work your way down a little bit lower. Generally holding this position for about 10 seconds at first, building your way up to 15 and 20 seconds, and then also working your depth to where you're almost to about 90, and then slowly increasing the time. Once you can hold these for about 30 to 40 seconds, you can generally move on to a couple other movements that I like to do as well. The next movement that I'm going to be doing is called a Spanish squat. For this movement, I have a very strong resistance band, and it's right under the knee. From here, I'm going to try to squat down, almost mimicking the wall squat. So I'm keeping my torso upright and not leaning forward, and I'm loading the quads here. From there, I'm going to come back up, pushing my knees back into the band, and then going down again. When you do this movement, you shouldn't feel that compression discomfort that you have in the front of the knee. When doing this, the band actually pulls on the tibia slightly forward. This can help with the amount of compression that's being put on the kneecap. And so these should feel a little bit better than doing a normal squat or a normal hack squat. With these, you can work on depth the same way you did with the wall sits, working on going a little bit lower. But if you have a hard time, start in a partial squat position, hold it for a couple of seconds, and then come back up. All right, everyone. The next movement that I'm going to show you is called a reverse Nordic curl. This is designed to help you strengthen the quads eccentrically, meaning the lengthening phase of the contraction. So in order to do this, you want to make sure that you're not having a lot of pain in the knee from the starting position. From there, you want to lean back as much as you can under control, feeling a nice pull in the quads, and then come back to the starting position. If you're feeling this in your low back, or if it's bothering your knees, this might not be the right movement for you to do at the time, and you might need to work up towards it. But for those of you that aren't having too much trouble in those areas, remember that you want your body to move as a whole unit from the knee to your shoulders, going down controlled, not letting the hips break, and then not arching up at the back to come up. Really make sure that you're focusing on the pulling that's going to occur in the quads when you do this, and then returning to that starting position. So, to wrap things up, if you're having pain in the front of the knee, it doesn't always mean that it's patellofemoral pain. There are other things that can be causing your knee pain. But for those of you that are dealing with patellofemoral pain, remember that it's generally occurring because there's compression on the kneecap. When doing active movements are a lot of things that require you to load your quads. So, trying to improve the mobility in the quads is going to be a good start. And then from there, you want to try to strengthen the quads eccentrically and also isometrically. That way you can start returning to the things that you like to do. If you thought this video was helpful and want to see more like it, click subscribe or leave a comment below, or you could even follow us on Instagram for more content there.